Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Ravens YouTube channel and podcast, Talking Ravens all day, every day, with your host, Justin P., and my MVP co host, Miss Shannon Finch. This is episode 60 for the YouTube channel. Right there below in the description are the links, to the audio version. You basically, anywhere you get your podcast stuff from, just follow those links right there, subscribe to the show, and also me and Shannon's social media platforms. So follow us there as well. Hope everybody enjoyed their 4th of July. Got a good show for y'all. Co-host got some great shows. So before we get started, Shannon, anything you want to say, or you just want to get right into it?
We can get right into it.
All right, floor is your co-host.
All right. So Jeff Zrebiec made a statement or wrote an article over the past week saying that Tyler Huntley and Josh Johnson were not all that impressive in the recent practices, and he thought that signing Teddy Bridgewater would make sense for us. What were your thoughts about that?
To be honest with you, I didn't even read the article. I try to keep up with as much stuff about the team as possible, but some stuff
Mm-hmm.
gets by me because I feel like Tyler Huntley, all right, he's the backup quarterback. Why are we talking about him unless something's wrong with Lamar? So Teddy Bridgewater would be an upgrade, but it's like why waste money when you got Tyler
Mm-hmm.
Huntley, Josh Johnson, and Anthony Brown. So you mean tell me all three of those guys, nobody can be number quarterback number two. We got to go spend money on a position that we probably that has the most bodies at right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely like it's definitely head scratching. But Teddy Bridgewater is definitely a better pro if that's what he's trying to say. That's nobody surprised by that. I don't think that's gonna jump nobody out there like, oh my god, are you serious? No, like Teddy Bridgewater's a first round pick. Like I said, one's for injuries, he would, he will still probably be a starter in the league. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Teddy Bridgewater's a very good talent, and he definitely will be a good backup. But he'll be expensive because he's a backup borderline starter. So
Mm-hmm.
do you really want to spend $8 million, $10 million? Yeah, I think backup quarterbacks make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to take the $2 to $3 million deal unless it's somewhere he really want to be. But
Mm-hmm.
if you feel like you coming here like, damn, it's Lamar here, I'm not ready to sit here and just hold on the bench. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna get me a nice couple of hours. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
sign here for $8 to $10 million. So we're gonna waste 8 to 10 million, and that's cheap for a backup quarterback. But I'm just saying we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
waste that when we got Huntley for dirt cheap, and Josh Johnson and and Anthony Brown. No, I just it just let them play out and see what happens.
Yeah.
Hold on one
I
second.
oh
Sorry about that string. Y'all be tripping sometimes. Hold on one second. That should be tripping. Yeah, sorry about that string. Y'all been tripping lately. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, all in all, we good with the backup quarterback situation. Of course they're not going to look like quarterback one. That's why they're the backups. But
mm-hmm.
long as if, like I said, if anything would have happened and they can just keep the ship afloat, that's all you can ask for is your backup quarterback. As much as I've been on Tyler Huntley's back, he's been doing a fairly good job with that. So backup quarterback or quarterback period should not be the topic unless it's something about Lamar. Unless he gets injured or just something falls with the offense. But Tyler Huntley, he's out number two for a reason. That's my thoughts on that.
Um, yeah, I pretty much agree with what you said. Like when you first started, you were saying, like, why would we even talk about the backup? I think, and it's unfortunate for Lamar, until Lamar plays a whole season, that's going to be a narrative around him as far as not being able to finish the season. So because of that, attention is going to be paid to the backup quarterbacks in general. Like that's probably just going to happen. Period. But as far as Tyler Huntley, like last week we were talking about what do we expect going into training camp, and I mentioned I expected the offense to have like some learning curves. That just they're not gonna come in just all doing everything 100% right. And that's how I see Tyler Huntley. Like this is a new offense for him. he's learning like everybody else is learning. So he may not look as well in this offense or as more comfortable in this offense as he may have with Greg Roman because he had did that for so many years and nothing had really changed with that. Now with Josh Johnson, I was a little I would say I was surprised to hear that he's struggling only because for someone who's been on 14 different NFL teams, they say he also played in the UFL, the AAF, and the XFL in college. I would expect that he has seen a ton of different offenses that he may like seeing this offense wouldn't be that big of a deal to him. But if anything, that's the interesting kind of thing. Like I'm surprised he's having a tough time trying to catch on when he has the most experience out of all of the quarterbacks on the roster. But overall, we don't expect to have to use them. So it's kind of like we don't want them to not be able to catch on because at some point, if something happens, you have to go in. We want you to be able to do that. But at the same time, we all have faith that Lamar's going to make it through the season, and it won't never come a chance where we're putting those guys in. But I do think with more time, like by the time training camp starts, it probably won't even be a conversation anymore. Like you said, they're QB 2, 3, or 4 for a reason. We have Lamar, so as long as he's good and he's learning, as long as we're not hearing reports like that about Lamar, we're good.
Absolutely. And one quick little nugget for them to go to the next tag. Granted, yeah, he missed 5 or 6 games last 2 seasons. So they want to look at backup quarterback. Look at the offensive line, because that's the reason why he missed the games. Like I said, it wasn't his fault. It ain't like he took on a linebacker or a safety head on and tried to do something he had no business doing both times. Or, well, damn, that was stupid. He could have prevented it. Both times was like, it wasn't really nothing he can do unless he grow eyes in the back of his head out of nowhere and see who coming behind him. Like, he was in the pocket, he threw the football, so it was like in the offensive lineman missed their block and guys fell on him all awkwardly. So, and it happens. And some of it came from Greg Roman calling too many design runs, so the body got a little too beat up at certain points that certain impacts and falls will make it a little worse than it really is. So, yeah, it's just the offensive line will be the main thing if you're worrying about him staying upright, because that's who got a block for him.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the next topic. PFF made a list of the best position groups in the AFC, and they ranked the Ravens linebacker unit as the best in the AFC. Are we selling our linebackers short outside of Roquan and Queen?
Not really. Uh, it's a good group. Like I said, those two are definitely the guys right now because they're gonna do 2 starters. Trenton Simpson, like I said, we still gotta wait and see. We got high hopes for him because he was drafted in the third round. Third round picks normally play right away, so we'll see how he catches on. I'm a real big Malik Harrison fan. Like I said, we'll see if he, now that he's 2 years removed, or a year and a half removed from that bullet wound shot, that now he can move the way he wants. And he got to get utilized more. And then Christian Welsh is a state West special teams. And then Josh Ross, who knows the scheme, but his chances of making a team are going to be very, very high because he got 4 guys in front of him. So it's a pretty deep room right now, and I think it is one of the better inside linebacker rooms in the league. You got 2 guys in the middle that's probably going to be Pro Bowlers, and then another 2 guys that are going to be heavy contributors. So I don't think they've been so short. They gave them the best linebacker group in the division or conference, and the division and conference. So they're showing them pretty good respect.
Right. So the way I read it, I don't know if you saw the way they broke it down. They didn't just say they weren't just referring to just the middle linebackers. They were referring to the linebacker group in general. Like they just mentioned like defensive line, linebackers, like that.
Okay.
So when I thought about this question, I was saying, are we selling our linebackers short overall? I meant pass rushers and the 2 in the middle. And I was saying, to me, my thing is this. I think that we're not selling them short. I think that we've praised Roquan and Patrick Queen all off season, right? So we have been saying we think they're going to probably be the best middle linebacker duo in the league. Our questions come in without pass rush, and that's the reason why I probably wouldn't have even thought of the Ravens being the best linebacker group. But like I said, I think the middle is what sets them over and is what's giving them that edge because we are concerned about the pass rush. Like we hope these young guys can finally come through and contribute in a way that we need them to. But I don't think we're selling them short. I just think we're more or less just like let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens with the guys on the outside because we're still talking about bringing in free agents, right? We were just talking about that last week. So yeah, I don't think we're selling them short. I just think that the middle of our linebacker core is giving them the edge over others.
Yeah, that's why they got to be specific when they do these position group rankings. Like
Mm-hmm.
those are two different departments. Yes, they play linebacker by design, but
Mm-hmm.
they're basically stand up defensive ends because we run a 3-4 defense. So they're going to be rushing more than they're covering. So what it should be anyway. But yeah, that's why they got to break it down to two different departments: edge and inside linebackers. But that far as the edge, definitely, it's a lot of unproven guys right there. Only our most proven guy right now is Taz Bowser.
Mm-hmm.
So so we gotta see what Ojabo can do. It's who I got high hopes on, but it's still a trajectory. Same with Owe, had a
Mm-hmm.
okay rookie season, then took a big step back. So we'll see with the addition of hiring Chuck Smith, Dr. Rush, would I improve his game and improve the Jabo game and Bowser game too, and also the young kid Tavares Robinson. We got another young kid too, undrafted edge rusher Malik Ham. He's from
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore, so we'll see if he can get those guys up to par. And like I said, we may still bring in a vet.
Yeah. All right. So next topic. John Harbaugh said, "To me, the roster is good enough to go play with no changes, and it's never so good that it can't be improved." Now, I noticed that a lot of fans were upset about him saying that. I really didn't understand why, but did it bother you?
Not really, because he's not telling a lie. Because the roster is definitely pretty much set for we got a whole at left guard right now. And that's about it. Every position on the team is it has quality players there.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, like you said, edge rusher making use another guy. I like our corners. Adding Rocky Sin was cool. Some people still wanted to bring back Peters, but we're good. Like we got Rocky Sin,
Mm-hmm.
Marlowe, Demarion Williams, Trayvon Mullins, Brandon Stevens. Like I said, we go like 6-7 deep at corner. So then we got a pretty good safety bunch back there. Just named
Mm-hmm.
the linebacker core. So on defense, probably another edge rusher on the offense. We're gonna see how the left guard situation going. I hear John Simpson is in the lead. So if those guys don't cut the mustard in camp and it looks like they're not holding up, go sign a veteran. So we're probably like 2 players away, maybe 3. So, but
Mm-hmm.
overall, we can line up right now. We'll play and still be a 12-13 win team. But it's just probably a couple pieces that will actually make us like, all right, this team should
Mm-hmm.
show enough Killer Pete and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that some fans just want to have a reason to be upset. I mean, I don't. It's like on one hand, we want them to be honest, and then on the other hand, when they are honest, we pick apart what they say and then start attacking them. And I'm talking about like John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, even Steve Bisciotti. Like when these guys say something, if it's not exactly what a person wants to hear, then it becomes a big deal. I was just surprised. Like, what are y'all upset about? Like, honestly, training camp is in a few weeks. If he feels like we're missing something, if Eric DeCosta feels like we're missing something, don't you guys have enough faith that they'll get that done before September the 10th, I think is the first game of the season?
Yeah,
So what's wrong with him saying, yeah, if we had to line up today, I'm good with who we had. But if we need but we're never too good. That's like saying you never stop learning, no matter how old you get, right? So no matter
mm-hmm.
how good I think I am, it doesn't mean that I can't improve and be better, right?
Absolutely.
So fans just, well, I like to say fans are finicky. You can't please everybody, but I'm just like, what are y'all mad about? Like, he's saying what a lot of, if we sitting around here saying, get this pass rusher, get D Hop, what are we doing? We're doing the same thing that he basically saying. We feel like this is a good group, but if you can get this guy or get this guy, that'll make us even better, right? I think people just want to be mad at Harbaugh for anything. It doesn't matter what he say; they gonna have a problem with it.
Yeah, and then I guess because he didn't throw names out, like he didn't go up there and say, "Well, yeah, we're looking at Jadavian Clowney." Oh,
He's
we're
not
looking
going to
at
do that.
no, we know that because for one, you tip your hand off the other teams. We know
Exactly.
that
Right.
smart football fans who like man, you the casuals don't understand this. They just watch it, good, support the team, but that's fine.
Hmm.
Everybody that knowledgeable football like that's fine. But us to really know understand the game for going, I know he's not going to go out there and say, hey. We're gonna bring in Conley for a workout. We're gonna bring in DeAndre Hopkins. We're gonna bring in Cook. We're gonna bring in Dalton Rod. They're not gonna. They would never tip their hands. So you're gonna
Mm-mm.
get a lot of cliche stuff, and when it comes to media and stuff like that, behind closed doors, they got stuff written down. Know who they want to bring in for sure. But it's like you
Exactly.
can't. You're not gonna tip your hand to the rest of the league.
No. All right. So we're going to go behind enemy lines a little bit with this topic because I heard a Steeler had something to say. The
Oh yeah,
Steelers,
my bad.
Hayward, he said that the Ravens' running game is second to none, but he wonders if it'll be a mixture. He said a mixture meaning staying on the same page as last year or adding things, like adding some wrinkles. He said we had a recipe for success and did it without Lamar. What are your thoughts on his opinion or questions that he has?
I mean, basically he just it's no shot at Lamar. He's basically giving the Ravens credit, saying like
Hmm.
how everybody's saying we just once he go down, it's a wrap. And for the most part, it's definitely been tough. But he's saying like for them to lose their starting quarterback who was an MVP in his league and still be able to rush the football like that and stay competitive and stay in games, it's a testament to that to that scheme and to their
Hmm.
philosophy. So it wasn't a dig at nobody, in my opinion. Who it might have been, but I doubt it because Cam Hayward is a respectable guy. Rival or
Hmm.
not, he's still a football player. He knows what he's saying out there in the field. So
Hmm.
that's why I still players are definitely some of the best players. Can they be jaded and their feelings as well? Yes, but but they're going against the person, so they're going to have a better insight versus a scout versus a
Yeah.
fan versus media outlet. They're actually out there going mano a mano with them, or not mano a mano, actually right there where they can see very closely of how
Hmm.
this person can play. So it's definitely kudos in my opinion. He just was giving our running game credit because we played them twice a year.
Definitely, I agree. I don't think that it was any sort of shot or anything like that. Even when I read it, I took it like you said, like he was just giving props to the Ravens and being able to still run the ball the way they were running the ball with Lamar, without Lamar. But what he wonders is the same thing that we wonder, and we've talked about this as well. How much, like, everything is about passing. Like, we're thinking about we're going to pass the ball more. We're going to have these creative schemes, and everybody's going to get involved. And Lamar wants to pass. Like Lamar's made it clear that's what he wants to do. I want to do that, but I also don't want to get away from our strong suit, which is still rushing the ball. Like we should still rush the ball. It should be, complementary football, not just solely focused on passing the ball to prove a point. So I too wonder, what's the running game going to look like? I hope that it stays the same. Like if it's possible that they can keep the scheme the same way and then incorporate what Monken wants to do passing wise and things like that. I think that could be a great, well balanced, hard to defend offense. So yeah, it definitely wasn't a shot. But I too wanted the same thing. What are we going to do? Is it going to be, the same running game with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, or maybe you could tell me this. I'm not familiar with like Monken and the type of run game he has. Is it similar to like what Greg Roman likes to do, or is it something totally different?
From what I've seen, Todd Monken in Georgia and in Cleveland and in Tampa Bay, he definitely likes to pass, but he runs the football. So like I said, it's going to be like a 60-40 or 45-55 split. He definitely gonna put the ball in the air because he keeps up with the times. But he also
Hmm.
run the football too, like James Cook and all those guys, Delvin Cook brother. What's the other kids? Amir White and the running backs they had this year, McIntosh, Kenny McIntosh, and those guys. Them was another back they had too. Forgot his name right now. Those guys got they got carries. All three of them went on for 1,000 yards. So he definitely gonna run the football. So
Hmm.
J.K. and Gus are going to get their fair share of carries. Will they get 30 carries and all that? If it's a game that calls for that, maybe. If it's a
Hmm.
bad weather game, the ball, and the ball's flying all over the place, he'll stick to the run game and run the ball. He's not going to ban the run game just to try to keep up with the Joneses. He's one
Mhm.
of those coordinators. Whatever you give him, he's going. Whatever's working, he's gonna stick with it. That's how he is. So if the pass is there, he's gonna pass the football. If the run is there, he's gonna run it. So I think like I said, I think it'll still be a pretty good running game because the one you guys still have account for Lamar.
Mhm.
Him pulling it down. Or like I said, I don't know how things gonna work now with this read option rule. So I'm pretty sure they'll find a way to adjust or maneuver around that way as though he can still be effective with his legs in certain situations. But it's his run game. It's probably not going to be historic like Greg Romans is, rush for all those yards, but it's still a good enough run game where the team's not going to just, be like, oh yeah, we're going to just sit back and just drop 8 in coverage because they can't run the ball.
Mhm.
Yeah, like how the
All
Bucks
right.
did the Chiefs. Yeah, it's not going to be that situation.
So the last topic that we had today, an NFL executive expressed the willingness to sign D Hop, but only for 1 year and $2 million. And he said if he'll take it, then he would do it. Do you think that the Ravens outpriced themselves or hurt the team in the long run with what Odell was paid and now can't offer D Hop anything close to that?
Not really, because at the time you had to do that. We didn't know the Cardinals were going to release DeAndre Hopkins.
Hmm.
We tried to trade for him. Obviously, they wanted more, whatever. But it is just it is what it is. Like you had to make a move because at that point, at that time, like I said, people can predict the future, yes, but it don't work like that. We had to go sign a receiver. Your quarterback was unhappy at the
Hmm.
time with his weapons, and rightfully so. So y'all had to win him over. So hey, who was the best available receiver available at that given time was Odell Beckham.
Hmm.
So yeah. Did he get? I ain't gonna say. I mean, did he get overpaid? Probably a little bit, but it's not nothing substantial. Like oh wow, like because like I said, healthy Odell is worth every penny of that.
Hmm.
So that's why it's not a real bad overpay. It's like it's not because Alan Lazard got $13 million and both receivers healthy. You taking Odell over him all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. And Alan
Hmm.
Lazard's a pretty good receiver, but it's just Odell's better. So I don't know. It all depends on what D Hop wants. Like I said, he's getting 22 million this year from the Cardinals, so he's not going to be. It ain't like he's going to have a sign up saying I'll play receiver for food or
Hmm.
anything like that. He's not hurting, so he's getting some. He's getting some change. So if he want to come like what, I just want a chip, sign for like 1 year, like $7 million, and just and try to win a championship. Then the next year worry about try to get a couple more million or whatever. Because he realized he at the end of the road he done made a lot of money. So he's been
Hmm.
in the lead 10 going on 11 years. So he's not hurting for cash. Like he got businesses and stuff like that. Because I follow him on social media, so he always invest his money right. So he's not hurting for cash. So if he want to say you want to play for like 5, 6, 7 million because he want to get a chance to win a championship, I think he'll do it. But like I said, it all depends what we can afford to give him. And then he's not in a rush. Told you these veterans they're not in a rush to get to training camp.
Hmm.
They're not in a rush, like I said, because then you get in year 10, your body like your body don't feel like going through that. If you gotta do it, if you're on a team, yeah, you're gonna do it. You're gonna be a professional and go about it. But if you're like a free agent, you're like, man, I'm
Hmm.
not ready to be in a rush to go do no tour days. Yeah,
Hmm.
I want to sign when they get we damn near like a week before the season. Just get enough time to catch up in the scheme and get into it. A lot of older guys they don't feel like doing that.
Hmm.
But like I said, I don't think they'll price themselves. They had to do what they had to do at the moment. And I think we got the most cap space out of all of the contending teams that can consign him.
Hmm.
I think on the other team that has pretty good cap space. I think Philly has a decent amount in Detroit, and everybody else are only like $4 or $5 million.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that context matters, and like you said, it's a reason why Odell was paid what he was paid. Healthy Odell, you getting him at 19 million is a steal. But a few different things was going on at that time. We were trying to get Lamar signed. So we had to try to go after whatever wide receiver we could. Trying to negotiate with the Cardinals wasn't working out. I mean, obviously nobody could get a deal done, so he was released. Um, and not only that, at that same time, the Jets were also showing interest in Odell. So then you have the Ravens kind of in a bidding war with them and trying to still get Odell to come. So I think that even though if somebody thinks that they overpaid, I don't think they did because of the circumstances. They had to get a wide receiver in here for Lamar. They had to. And if
Yeah.
Odell and D Hop were two guys that he mentioned wanting, you have to go all in and try to get them. We know that they tried to get D Hop, it didn't work through trade, so we got Odell. I'm not mad at that. Like I said, it kind of made sense to go after him because we wouldn't have to give up draft capital to give him. I mean, to get him. I didn't expect it to be 19 million, but again, if somebody else gets 13 million and you say they're not even remotely close, to what he is as a wide receiver when he's healthy, then what are we talking about? So, no, I don't, and I still don't think they outprice themselves now because D Hop is still available. Like, even though I know that he probably, like you said, they might not want to come and do all OTs and things like that. That's fine. But now we're about what 2-3 weeks away from training camp, right? So I would think that he would like to know where he's going to be going at in the next couple of weeks. And seeing from an executive saying I'm only willing to pay him that amount, it made me curious to say, well, which team is that? And if the Ravens are a team that has more cap space, then he's like he has a lot of decisions to make because he could go to a team like let's just say the Chiefs. Let's say the Chiefs wanted to pay him $2 million. Do you think he wouldn't want to go play with Pat? You know, I don't know how much the Browns could pay him, but I hear that Deshaun Watson really wants him there. But I don't know how much the Browns could pay him. The Ravens might have the most cap space, but are they willing to do that? Go there with him when we can still point out other needs that we have, maybe another cornerback, pass rusher, things like that. So it's tough, but I don't think that it's a bad thing. I don't think that they really are. I don't think they're mad like, oh my goodness, we should have, did whatever to get D Hop. I think they're happy to have Odell, and if the chips fall how they may, and D Hop is still available towards the end of July, maybe they do, offer him whatever five. Because I didn't even realize that the Cardinals was going to still pay him 20 something million. So
Mhm.
really, how much money do you need? Maybe he will take 2 million. Maybe you'll take three. You know what I mean? So overall, no, I don't think the Ravens outpriced themselves. I think the Ravens did exactly what they had to do at that particular time to get a wide receiver in here and to get their quarterback signed. So yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it all depends on what he want. Like I said, we all know the quarterbacks he want to play with. And he
Mhm.
made that clear on I Am Athlete and plenty other
Mhm.
you know podcast outlets. So we know he want to be the Chargers, the Eagles, the Browns, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens. Let's see. I don't. He wasn't too keen on Dak, but if Jerry Jones come with the right amount, he'll shut that tune up.
And didn't he go up to
Real
the
cool.
Did you say the Patriots? Didn't he go to the Patriots too?
Yeah. Yeah. Them two. But I don't know how he feel about Mac Jones as a quarterback. But if
He
they
probably
give
don't
him
want
a
that
nice,
too.
but if they give him a bill, go outside himself and say, you know what, we'll give you $10 million for this year. He'll take it.
Mhm.
He'll take it because, like I said in the day, money talks, BS walks. So,
Mhm.
Green Bay not now since Rodgers not there. But
Mhm.
if the Packers jump out there, they got some money to play with now since Aaron Rodgers is traded. The next year, his whole what's the name come out the book. So they like,
Mhm.
hey D Hop, we can give you 3 years, about 35, 40 million. He might say, you
And
know
I think
what,
that's
fuck
what he
it.
wants. I think he wants a long term, a deal. I don't think he wants a 1 year deal. But the
Mm-hmm.
later he goes into this closer to the season, I think that's all he's going to get is a 1 year deal right now.
Absolutely,
It'd have
absolutely.
been different if he got signed earlier in the off season.
Because people still want to see how his health and all that
Mhm.
because the whole all he took was supplements for his pain. But the
Mhm.
doctors don't be truthful with these players. They just sell it to them because it's a good buy.
Mhm.
So they don't really break it down like, hey, this can come in your system, blah blah blah. Cause
Mhm.
that's how Robin Mathis and got Dwight Freeman and got caught like that. And they added it up like, man, doctors don't be telling the truth. Like
Mhm.
after they finish playing, they a couple several like Sherman and the Adderall, they don't tell us what's in this stuff.
Mhm.
So teams basically want to see what's how he's gonna how his body is and all that. So like we're just gonna give you a year. Then if
Mhm.
don't got no issues far as that and injuries, because you're gonna produce. Because when he came back, all the suspension, man, his numbers, second half of the year, he still was topping catches and stuff like that. So the
Mhm.
production is still there. So
And
what we
he's that guy because he can perform regardless of who his quarterback is.
yes,
Some
dude.
guys need a great quarterback to do certain things. He's already proven that he doesn't need that.
Yeah, my man was in Houston with Tom Savage and Ryan Mallett, God rest his soul. getting it in. So yeah, this like I said, it all depends what the caster want to do. I know we like our receivers, but if one or two guys go down, how really confident are you in this room? Now you force Zay to be the
Mm-hmm.
one, which is okay, but don't. I'd rather him be the one. He earned it over time versus he slide in there because Bateman and Odell or somebody can't
Mm-hmm.
practice and do this might get hurt. So me
Right.
signing D Hop, that like I said, us putting up points. I mean, if we can get DeAndre Hopkins and then sign County, I'm good. We don't gotta do nothing else. We good. Like I said, the guard situation, we can figure it out. Because like how we did with
Mm-hmm.
Ben Powers. Somebody out of them four guys, somebody got to be worth a damn
Yeah,
to put
somebody
right
get
there.
it.
Somebody
Yeah.
got to be worth it. So if it's John Simpson, then roll with it. Then yeah, Plus, what's the name? Come back next year off his Achilles forehead, so we'll
Mm-hmm.
have a guy waiting regardless. So yeah,
Right.
like I said, we can go ahead and get D Hop and Clowney. I'm cool. We don't gotta do nothing else. You could just cause that right there to solidify the two top talents that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody,
Right.
great show, Shannon. Great topics
Mm-hmm.
as well. Sorry, everybody. They were kind of I forgot to space some of them out, so some of the topics were like ongoing. But it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back Tuesday. Dave will be back on with us. He's gonna come on and join us as many Tuesdays as he can. Go check him out and keep it stack sports. Him, what's the boy? I think like Money Bills, Heath Rock. Go check them out. They got a pretty good podcast. Subscribe to the channel. So, hey, bye. You know what I'm about to say? Enjoy y'all Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Have an amazing weekend. The Orioles won today. Go O's. Hopefully they can keep things rocking so we can see them in the postseason for the first time since 2014. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, we,
Seems
we
like
need
it.
that. We need
Yeah.
that. So everybody make sure y'all trade talk Ravens all day, every day from your host Justin P and my MVP co-host Miss Shannon Finch. Like and subscribe. Y'all already know. And we'll see y'all guys Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, same bad time, same bad channel, and we are out.
Bye, Justin.
Bye, Shannon. Yeah,